Welcome back to the channel. My name is Abom and welcome to a brand new series. Welcome to Music in Motion, and it is my very first save in the United States of America. We've gone to the States for the first time and I've got no clue what I'm doing. So yeah, welcome to a brand new series, and this is a save with Nashville SC. It is a new club to the MLS in 2020, brand new expansion club alongside Inter Miami. If you didn't see my little 3-4 minute video a few days ago, a little bit of a preview, then it's in the description if you want to go and watch it. We've just joined the club. Nashville have today confirmed the appointment of Andrew Brown as the club's new manager. Eyebrows have been raised in the world of football at the appointment of the 29-year-old who has recently spent time away from club football, only because I holidayed a few months. Next opportunity we get, I'm changing the currency to dollars because we're in America now and we need to change. So we have a meeting with Ian Ayre, the president. My one tie with any MLS side. Didn't even know that he was actually one of the main people at Nashville. I chose Nashville because I didn't really have a tie to any MLS club. We've gone with Nashville because they're one of the two newest sides, and I've seen people doing Inter Miami before, so I thought Nashville, it's almost been a bit overlooked because of course David Beckham runs Inter Miami, so Nashville, I think it needs a little bit of love, so that's why we've picked Nashville SC. Now it says that Nashville play at First Tennessee Park. They have been playing there. Nashville SC have been in the USL Championship in 2019, and it's their last season there, and then 2020 they join the MLS. And then when Nashville are in the MLS, that's when they start to use Nissan Stadium until they get their stadium finished on the Fairgrounds site, which won't be till 2022, I don't think. So because Nashville are in the USL Championship, which isn't a thing on Football Manager unless you use custom databases, they've had no fixtures this year. The only fixtures they've had are any friendlies and the US Open Cup. That's the only games that they've had. So what I've had to do is I've had to holiday to the end of the USL Championship season, which ended, I think, end of October. It was about 20th of October because I had to look it up to see when I needed to holiday to. So I've gone to the 1st of November because this will hopefully give me time to get some friendlies together and to scout some players for whenever transfers happen or drafts or whatever the hell MLS does with new players, because they don't just have a regular old transfer window. They've got drafts, they've got designated players, they've got something called Generation Adidas. I've got no idea what I've let myself into here. But facility wise, they have adequate training facilities, basic youth facilities and fairly basic youth recruitment. And current season, it says US Open Cup second round. So I think that's why they got to in that this season. Of course, it's a fairly new club, so they don't really have any history, no trophies. Hopefully we'll help them with that. Okay, so coaching staff has given us a little report. So we've got a possible 4-4-1-1 formation here, which we can have a look at the tactics in a second and have a look at our squad. But no one here that I actually know, I don't think. Now it seems that they were expected to get to the 5th round of the US Open Cup. They went out in round 2, so in theory I've taken over whoever was the manager before, and well, they didn't do well in that cup, so I guess they've been sacked and we're in. Gary Smith was the previous manager, who is an English manager. Previously managed Stevenage. He was an assistant manager at Whitehawk. Alright, so we are changing the currency to US dollars, wherever the US dollar is. I should say, if you're looking forward to the new series, then do drop a like and leave comments. And if you haven't done so already, or if you're new, then do consider subscribing and turning on notifications. We're going to try and aim to, with this series, get me to 800 subscribers. That's my aim for this series, is to try and get some new subs in and get us up to 800. And then keep us on that road to 1k, which is going to be a while before we get that 1k, I think. But I want 800 subs from this series. That is my goal. I think I'm about 26 away. So if 26 people watch this video and subscribe, then we're there. Tactics, we'll sort that out in a second. We do have a youth intake preview. So I guess they still have an academy. That's good, at least. There are a healthy number of new fullbacks, a terrific group of players coming through, and the potential to be a real golden generation for the club. That's good news. MLS contract and registration information. This is a lot of text, but hopefully it's going to teach us a few things. Nashville may sign a maximum of 2 designated players. These players are typically of a higher stature and greater quality than the rest of the squad, and as such their contribution towards the salary cap will be equal to the maximum senior salary of $10,250 a week, regardless of his total wage. If the player signed during the summer transfer window, clubs get a 50% discount on their salary cap impact. So that's one thing I do know about MLS, is that each team has a wage cap, that they can't spend any more of that. and then you got 2 designated players, which was basically a rule that was made up to allow David Beckham to move to LA Galaxy. Like, he was on a lot more than anyone else in the MLS. Like, I think his contract was worth 128 million. I might have got that number completely wrong, but basically that rule was made up so that David Beckham could move. And since then, we've had players like Kaká and Wayne Rooney and Zlatan Ibrahimovic making their way to the MLS. We've also got young designated players, which are designated players that are 20 or younger, and they count towards less of the wage cap. And then if they're 21 to 23, they also count for a little bit less. You can buy a 3rd designated player slot as well, apparently. I'm not sure how that works. There are 2 main types of squad registration slots in the MLS, senior and off-budget. Players registered on a senior slot will always count towards the cap, while off-budget players are given an exemption. Players earning the league minimum salary of $1,400 a week are on senior minimum salary contracts and may be registered using either a senior or off-budget slot. Players signed from an MLS club's academy are categorized as homegrown. They retain this status until they permanently move to a non-MLS club. These players may be registered using either a senior or off-budget slot. For senior homegrown players registered and off-budget, the combined difference between their cap intact and their minimum salary cap impact is exempt from the salary cap up to a maximum of $2,400 a week. I don't know what I've just read. I've no idea. Generation Adidas. It's not Adidas, it's Adidas. Look it up. Generation Adidas contracts pay above the senior minimum salary value and are given to the highest rated prospects coming through the draft system. They're always exempt from the salary cap and can only be registered using an off-budget slot. So Generation Adidas are for Wonder Kids? I really don't know. Reserve contract players are also always exempt from the salary cap and can occupy only off-budget slots. Reserve contracts can only be given to players under the age of 25 and come with a maximum length of 2 years. So reserve players, that's what they are. Okay, so looking at what's happened this past season in MLS, Atlanta United won Eastern Conference and the Western Conference was won by Sporting Kansas City. We've got the final, so New York Red Bulls made it to the final of the MLS Cup. So this is the final, which hasn't been played yet. Seattle Sounders versus New York Red Bulls. It is the Sounders, isn't it? Yeah, the Sounders. So that is the final of MLS, and that's to be played on the 10th of November. We've also got the Supporters Shield. Not really sure what this is, but I guess it's everything combined. It's all 24 teams combined, and it's whoever has the best points. That seems to be what that is. 24 teams, and then with us and Inter Miami, that will be up to 26. So it'll be 13 per conference, East and West. And then I think you do play a selection of teams from the other side as well. So we're in the Eastern Conference, but we will be playing some teams from the West to make up 34 games. I think that's how it works, but it's not that complicated, the league format. It's just all the rules about contracts and transfers. That's what makes the MLS confusing. So we got owner John Ingram, who was, the guy that really took over. And then we had the Wolf brothers, which came in as investors and had them established as an MLS side. We've got Ian Ayre, the president, who's going to decide whether we're good enough to stay on or not. We've got directors David Dill, Marcus Whitney, and Christopher Redhage? I don't know. Director of football is Mike Jacobs, 10-9-10. That's not too bad. We've got us as the manager. In terms of actual coaching setup, we've got a chief scout, but no other scouts. Our coaching setup's pretty good. We just need a head of youth development, and we can get a physio as well. So the coaching setup's not too bad, but we need like a couple of scouts and a physio, but they shouldn't be too difficult to get, hopefully. Okay, so let's have a look at this squads then. Let's sort it by ability, and we'll see who we have. So first up, the best player that we have is called Hani Mukhtar. He's German, he's 24. He is a central attacking midfielder on $10,000 a week. I don't know how you work out who's a designated player or who's not. I don't know how you actually work that out because it doesn't seem to tell you. So I've no idea about that unless it goes contract. Oh, here we go. So yeah, so he is one of our 2 designated players, Hani Mukhtar. Attacking midfielder, 16 first touch, not a bad passer of the ball. It's good to see some green in there straight away, good vision. He looks like a decent sort of attacking player, and I think someone that we can definitely build this team around. So Mukhtar's going to be one to definitely play a part and probably start. Okay, so we've added the contract type here. So we have our designated player, Hani Mukhtar. Next best player, David Akam, who is a winger, an inverted winger. So he's a right-footed player. So he could play either on the right wing or as like an inside forward on the left. So we've got a couple of options with him. He's Ghanaian. He's 29. Brian Bekeles, Honduran. He's 33, so he's a bit on the older side. Hasn't really waned physically though. He still looks pretty strong. Like no nonsense fullback. So defensively he was okay. Although going forward, 9 passing, I would like it to be double figures really. So I think he'd be better as a defender that sort of stays back. I don't really want him getting forward too much, but we'll see what he's like. I say physically he looks okay. So I think as like a defensive fullback, I think he can be pretty useful. Dax Mccarty was our suggested captain. He's a central midfielder. Can play as a box-to-box. Quite a versatile midfielder, actually. He can play as a playmaker or a Mzala, but box-to-box is his preferred role. Technically, he's decent. 13s and 14s aren't too bad. Mentally, very determined and good leadership. He is our captain. Physically, he's okay, but he's an experienced midfielder. He's 32. And we have one more player that's 3.5 star. His name is Anibal Godoy. He's from Panama. He's another central midfielder. A little bit more defence-minded, though. 30 marking, 14 tackling is not too bad. Again, determined. I like it. Mentally, actually, pretty decent. He's, anticipation's good, concentration's good, good work rate. Physically, he's decent. Pretty strong. So he looks like a decent sort of defence-minded midfielder, ball-winning midfielder. We've got a bunch of players here on 3 stars. I don't recognise any of these players from anywhere. So I don't know. We're gonna get to know them. Do we have another designated player? No, we only have the one. Unless he's unavailable or something. No. So we can get another designated player then. We've got SMS, which is a senior minimum salary. So Miguel Nazari is on $1,400 a week. So he's on the minimum salary. So you can't earn any less than that. We've got GA, which was Generation Adidas. So that is, what's this? Abu Danladi. So this is meant to be for a player with good potential, right? He's on $3,500 a week. He doesn't have good potential. He's 24. He's a forward. Well, he's a false 9. He looks okay, but he doesn't really have anywhere to go. I think this is pretty much as good as he's going to get. We have another Generation Adidas. Jack Mayer has got a bit more potential about him. He's a centre-back. He's not too bad. 14 marking, 14 tackling. Heading at 12 is not too bad, I guess, for this level. For a brand new MLS side, I think it's okay. Mentals, he's very hit and miss, but physically, again, he's decent. He's fairly quick. He's 20, so he's got a bit of room to grow. So that I can understand. A Generation Adidas contract for someone like this, yes. But for that Ghanaian, I don't think so. We've got some more players on minimum salary. We've got some reserve players as well. Tanner Dieterich and Alistair Johnson. These guys, I think we'll try and look to offload, maybe trade off or something. I'm not sure if we'll be able to do that at some point. I've no idea. But that's going to be the idea with all these 2-star players. Try and ship them off and get them replaced with some good players. Okay, so tactic-wise, we've got controlled possession is suggested to us, gegenpress or tiki-taka. If we go gegenpress, does that give us another possibility? That gives us that narrow diamond, but again, no width. I think it might have to be this 4-2-3-1, because I think the box-to-box and the ball winner, that is the 2 midfielders that we looked at. So that could work. Just for a base, we're going to pick this. Okay, so this is what we're looking at for a base 11. A nice simple 4-2-3-1 with a pressing forward. I'm not sure if we'll go with a pressing forward or not, but the squad's definitely going to need some additions and some removals because it's decent. I'd like a few more players that are above 3 stars. We only have 5, so that's definitely going to need some work. We've got a few players that we can try and offload, so hopefully we'll be able to do something with this. We don't have any transfer budget. We've got a little bit of wage left, $7,000. Okay, let's have a look at some MLS rules then. So we've got the 2 groups. Then we've got the MLS Supporters Shield, which I guess puts them all into one. And then we've got the WC Final. Oh, so that's the Western Conference Final. And then we've got the Eastern Conference, and then you've got the MLS Cup, which is both winners of each conference. So that's what that is. So the top 7 go through to basically the championship group, I guess, the first round. and then the first place team gets the bye to the semi-finals. 34 games, so I think you do play a few teams from the other conference, but not everybody. The league's sorted first of all by how many games you've won, so it's a little bit different there. So head-to-head's not really a thing, and then it counts the number of games you've won over your goal difference. Transfer windows and squad registration. 27 non-Canadian players. Maximum squad salary $82,000 a week, so that is our wage cap. Maximum of 8 internationals, 3 designated players, 2 non-young designated players, 10 off-budget players, 4 non-reserve and non-homegrown off-budget players. This is a lot of words. Maximum of 6 reserve players and 4 non-homegrown reserve players. Okay. So there's no transfers happening at the moment. The transfer window opens on the 16th of December, so about 6 weeks away. We have a waiver draft on December 16th, so that is the first opportunity for us to get some players. Then we have an expansion draft, which I think is just for us and Inter Miami, because we're the 2 new expansions. So I guess that means that just gives us the opportunity to catch up on the other teams and try and get a competitive squad, because we're a brand new side. And then we've got the re-entry drafts, which I'm assuming are for the rest of the teams once we've picked our players. Maximum of 30 players to be registered, so we get a roster of 30. I've got a general idea of when we'll be able to do some stuff. So we've got a few weeks before we can actually start making some signings. The season doesn't actually start, I think, till like March. So we have got quite a way to go. But the next time we're going to meet, we're going to be going for those first 2 drafts. So the next time I see you, we'll have the waiver draft and the expansion draft. So that's our first opportunity to get some players in. So until then, I'm going to get a bunch of friendlies organised so we can actually get some matches together. We're going to scout a bunch of players and see if we can find out who's going to be in this draft that we could potentially choose from. And then I don't know what else. I'm not sure what else there is I can do. But we've got a little while before our first game. But we've got our first draft in the middle of December. So that's where we're going to meet up next. So we've got opportunities to try and maybe get rid of some of these 2-star players and look at scouting some other players as well, seeing who we can potentially bring in either in this draft or throughout the transfer window. You know, we've got space for another designated player, so we can look to try and get in a big player. Lots of stuff that I need to learn and lots of stuff that I need to remember when I'm getting this squad together, because no doubt I'm going to mess it up and I'm going to end up having a really good player that I can't register. That's bound to happen at some point during this. But anyway, that is going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed our first look at Nashville SC and you're excited for the upcoming series, then do drop a like down below, leave comments, and if you haven't done so already, or if you're new, then do consider subscribing and turn on notifications. And the next time we see each other will be for the waiver draft and the expansion draft. Yeah, we've got our first 2 drafts next time, so that's something to look forward to. But anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.